everybody, and welcome back to another educational bird video to teach you how to care better for your birds. So, right now in the room, I am currently with Kiwi, Luca, and Mango, who is up on the ceiling right now. I think Luca wants to come over here. This one's Kiwi. Title suggests they have met and they have already started to get to know each other. Kiwi and Luca particularly have already started to form a bond, and you guys will see that in the continuing videos. But I wanted to share with you guys my tips on what I did in order to bond them properly and to share those with you, because I also used them between Kiwi and Mango and they turned out pretty good too. So the first thing to understand is that it's really important that you don't throw them into the same cage together. A lot of people say, oh, if I get this bird, can I just cage them together and leave them be? No, you can't. After you pass the quarantine period of your bird being here, making sure they're not sick, getting used to you and their environment, you can introduce them, but not inside the same cage or on the same cage. Keep in mind, a bird's cage is like their bedroom. So if someone just dumped a stranger in your room, you would not feel very comfortable. You'd probably want to meet this new person in a coffee shop, somewhere that doesn't belong to neither of you guys. Therefore, how I said last time, I will be using the term neutral zones. And neutral zones are places that your birds do not own as territory. So basically places that are not near their cage or in the same room as their cage. So we used a lot the kitchen area because they're free-flighted and Luca cannot fly. We took him outside a lot. The bathroom was a good place for showers. And so these places allowed them to interact and bond without having to worry that one of them was going to feel territorial or like their territory was being taken over. The other thing too is that if you have one or more birds, this can be overwhelming for your new bird to meet more than one at the same time. So you probably want to pick out a bird that's going to fit their personality the best, or maybe the one that's just more interested in them, and just introduce them one at a time. With us, we introduced Kiwi first because he was the most interested in Luca. We just thought Quakers would probably get along pretty well. When he first saw Mango, he thought she was beautiful but intimidating. So Kiwi was allowed to be with Luca for a few weeks, and then we started bringing in Mango once Luca started to feel comfortable with Kiwi. You as well never want to leave them alone unsupervised until you know they've either bonded, they've been accepted into the flock, or just use your best judgment to know that everything's safe. They are still in their separate spaces. Kiwi and Mango still sleep on their tree, and Luca sleeps in his cage. And now they actually hang out on Luca's cage a lot since Luca has limited mobility. And Luca is pretty okay with it. He's not a territorial bird at all, so that helped. So when introducing your flock, like I said, never leave them unsupervised, and you're gonna have to be ready to put your hands in between them and take a few bites. Because if they do get into a fight, you know, getting your hand bit and letting it bleed for a bit is going to be a lot less severe than one of them giving a fatal injury to their foot, to their eye, to their beak, ripping out feathers. You definitely don't want that. So you're going to have to be ready to intervene in these situations. And yes, that means pretty much sacrificing your hand. There's also different personalities for each parrot when meeting someone new, and it's important to know your parrot's personality and be able to read their body language really well in order to create a safe environment. So being able to read their body language to know when they're about to, for example, lunge at them before they even do. I will be making a video specifically about Quaker body language and sun conure body language, but it's important that you know your own parrot's body language, as they each have different meanings to everything that you will know. Remember that the end goal of introducing your birds is for them all to tolerate each other. If they end up bonding, that's even better, but just tolerating and coexisting is a pretty good goal. There's different personality types that react to bringing a new bird home. First, you have your jealous bird. Now, jealous birds are birds who are usually bonded to just you or very attached to you, and they see the new bird as a threat. These birds can usually be pretty aggressive with the new bird if it's not done carefully or very supervised. With the jealous bird, you do have to be careful to divide your attention equally and let them know that, you know, you're not forgetting about them, they're not getting replaced, they're just bringing in a new family member, you have a new flock member, and it's a new friend for them. It's important that they don't feel left out, that they don't feel like, you know, you're gonna forget about them and they're never gonna get love again. With these birds, you usually have to supervise them really well because they do tend to lunge and attack quite often. Then you have the friendly, nonchalant bird. This was Mango. Mango kind of could not care less, kind of minding her own business. If Luca was there, she was like, okay, I don't really care, I'm just gonna eat kind of thing. These birds can work really great for birds feeling comfortable because they're not overwhelming in any way, both in the positive or negative way. They just kind of exist, and it allows them to feel more comfortable with birds around if they're not used to it. And then lastly, you have the personality type that Kiwi has, which is the over-friendly, bearing bird. Kiwi was beyond excited to meet Luca. He loves making new friends, and he became obsessive over him. The obsession was what we were dealing with because he was so obsessed with Luca, he was attacking us in order to only have Luca to himself, which became difficult, but now that they've bonded, it's a little better, especially since it's hormonal season. I do advise if you can choose to avoid bringing a new bird home during hormonal season, but because Luca was a rescue, he didn't really get much of a choice. So he came to us during hormonal season, and things were aggressive in the household for a while. It became kind of a tricky thing because Kiwi refused to eat unless it was around Luca. He refused to exist unless it was around Luca. So we had to bond them kind of really safely because we needed Kiwi to eat and he would only do it around Luca. Luca was, since we brought him, he was tolerant of them. He didn't mind seeing them. He liked seeing them in the room. He actually really liked their presence. But in the beginning, he was not comfortable with them touching him at all or getting too close to him. Now Kiwi's able to preen him, but Mango's not able to be close to him at all. Now to get to the methods of the things I used as bonding techniques in order to bond them all safely. The first one is community breakfast. I call it community breakfast. It's just in the morning when I prepare the chop and, you know, I feed them. I bring it out in a very big plate, big enough so that everybody's on their own side and nobody feels threatened like they're gonna touch each other's beak. I set it out on the counter into the kitchen, which is a neutral zone, and I got them to eat breakfast every single morning there. This not only helps Luca transition into a healthier diet, like I spoke about in my transitioning from seeds to pellets video, but it also helped them bond, helped them feel like they're not a threat, you know, they just want to eat with him and everything's safe. It's really important that I was there throughout the whole thing, never turning my back and making sure that he wasn't feeling uncomfortable. As soon as he did feel uncomfortable, he wanted to be picked up. You know, I tried to encourage him a little bit, but if he really wasn't feeling it, then I'd pick him up. And every day it became better and better, and now he doesn't mind them even eating like right up to his face. It takes time for every single bird. Every single bird has their own personality, own trust, and it's just working with time. You know, Luca ended up bonding with them in under a month. This usually can take a year. So just be patient. Don't compare your bonding time to other people because everyone has a different period. I know one girl whose birds bonded after 9 months, and at first they did not tolerate each other at all, and now they are good with each other. Also, make sure that you are bringing home a bird to another bird who is willing to have another bird home. Some birds are just single kind of birds who only want to be with you and will hate the company of others. And as well, make sure that the birds are compatible with each other, the species that you bring home. I do have a video about that if you guys want to look at it. So the next bonding technique that I used was community showers. So this one required us to go into the bathroom, and sadly I don't have my shower pole because our shower wall is an uneven textile that I can't stick it onto the wall without it falling. So instead, I put them on the shower pole, like where you hang the curtain. Ooh. And then they would all pretty much go there, and I at first would have to be watching really carefully. Ooh. Because Kiwi wanted to preen Luca really badly, but Luca wasn't comfortable with it yet, so I have to be backing Kiwi away from him, and also making sure that Luca didn't feel so uncomfortable where he felt like jumping off, because like I said, he cannot fly. So this had to be very carefully supervised, but because the steamy showers help to relax them a lot, it helped a lot to calm everyone down, make them less aggressive, less on edge. And it's really important to read the body language. At first, Luca would back into a corner, but he would sleep while kind of watching him. So he wasn't uncomfortable with it. He was just kind of like watchful. And then slowly, you know, they ended up like getting more comfortable. He stopped backing himself into the ledge, and it got better and better every single time. And now they even preen each other in the shower, just like we wanted. So not all birds love steamy showers. I know that mine do. If you guys want, we also did community baths. This one I did more when they were a little more comfortable with each other, but I would fill a bowl of cool, warm water in the sink where I normally bathe them, and you know, they take turns each bathing, and then you know, they each watched each other bathe, and I just feel like that helped to be a little more comfortable and work more as a flock in a community. The third method I used is not possible for everybody, but if it is, then I highly encourage it, is taking them outside altogether. So Kiwi, Mango are free-flighted, Luca cannot fly, so we were able to take them out to the park, and they stayed with him in the park a lot. Kiwi and Luca waddled a lot on the grass, started foraging for like some food together, and they eat veggies outside together. And because it's an open space, it feels less like enclosed and intimidating to get to know a new bird. And it was very helpful. You know, they stayed with him a lot. They were very watchful that he was safe. And I think them foraging together really helped to forge their bonds. If they're not free flighted, that's okay. Harness training is always great. I still want to harness train mine despite them being free flighted, so I can take them to more places. You can take them out in a carrier, anything to safely bring them out for some sunshine and some air helps them out a lot. The harness one is probably the best one in my opinion if free flighting is not an option. Fourth technique I used was kind of entertainment. So whether it was playing a movie for all of us to watch together or it was playing some music for them to sing and dance to, because they're kind of like vocal and singy birds, I do feel like every single time I put on a song or we watched the movie, they were very entertained with it. It helped to bring their attention somewhere else, or if they wanted to sing along and party, then that helped bond them as well. Not every single bird is gonna work with this, but you know what? It ended up working for mine. It ended up being a good way to keep them like kids distracted while I went and like, you know, did the dishes or the laundry or something. And fifth but not least was sharing treats together. I would try to bring them all the same treat and give it to all of them so that they can just share like a little dessert together, or just something that wasn't their usual food, and that way they all kind of felt like they were, you know, having some like dessert in the community. It's kind of similar to the community breakfast. Instead, it's kind of like more of like a dessert. After they start to feel comfortable, you can definitely start to get them to do more things together and just more bonding techniques that you feel more comfortable with once they feel comfortable doing these kind of beginner bonding ones. So now they are pretty good all together. As you can see, Kiwi's always following where Luca goes. Mango's always following where Kiwi goes. Yeah, so just remember, never leave them unsupervised unless you're confident that they're getting along. And even so, it really shouldn't be left unsupervised. Never cage the birds unless they are, you know, bonded together, and try not to change the dynamic too much. Divide your attention equally so no bird feels left out. That way they don't feel like they're getting replaced. And yeah, I hope these bonding techniques help. I hope it helps if you guys are struggling to bond your birds. Yeah, make sure to give it a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you want to see more educational videos by us, and follow us on our social media links down below. And we will see you guys next time. Bye!